All right. So I'm playing Tony Hawk. Parents walk in. 1 to 3 month adventure. They tell me to come downstairs, meet two of their friends. The friends tell me it's 1 to 3 month adventure.
Did they really say friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a couple friends we want you to meet.
A couple friends we want you to meet.
Yeah.
And what's your brother doing? Did you pause your game for Excel?
Yeah. And
you pause your game for this.
if you want insight, see, I don't know.
Of course we want insight.
Yeah, but like, I'll say it, but it just I'm speaking very frankly here, and if you listen to the Rhett Miller episode of Mark Maron's podcast, I know you haven't. He is very reluctant at one point to talk about he's telling all kinds of crazy stories. It's a very good episode of the podcast. And then there's one where he totally clams up, and it's because it's not like a story in the past. This is a story in the past. Today, I am occasionally bothered by the fact that there's a feeling in my family that there's a dynamic of 3 people in the family, and then me just kind of also there.
Sure.
I feel like my brother and my parents kind of like what I was saying earlier of I feel like they're different people than me.
Right.
I do not feel like that's the case of him, and sometimes it bothers me, but this isn't the kind of thing that we verbalize as a family. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'm hesitating because I'm speaking much more frankly with you and these strangers than I am with the people involved in the situation.
Right.
But he knew.
Wow.
When I don't know at what point they told him, but it was before they told me. And so I mean, this is 20 years ago. I could be getting these details wrong, but my recollection is, I can say that with confidence. My recollection is that he was kind of given you go upstairs and play Tony Hawk, placate him, make sure he doesn't go anywhere, keep eyes on him while we wait for these escorts to get here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a feeling anything was amiss while you were playing Tony Hawk sitting there beforehand?
Nope.
See, okay. And so when did you know that
it was certainly a time when I would have been grounded. I got caught with weed at school.
Right. And so you shouldn't have been playing Tony Hawk at all under the strict grounding rules.
What? I think now that I'm glad you asked this to draw it out, because it was kind of I know that they had said I was grounded. I know that's still in effect. There's a normal way that we lift this. It has not occurred. But I was I didn't get sent to Excel for following rules.
Right.
So I was I'm going to go do this. But it did feel like there was a little bit, it's not I was I bet they're about to send me away I bet I'm not going to see this room again for 2 years. That thought never crossed my mind.
Right, okay.
But there was some kind of being unusually chill about this. And I think the reaction was just that's tight. Maybe they're going to stop being dicks all the time. I don't know. Probably not. We'll see.
Wow. Okay. And so when did you find out that your brother knew?
See, that's why I was kind of waffling about whether or not the memory was accurate. I don't recall. They didn't let... I think that it was from him. I think that he, looking back on the experience, was kind of just trying to relate it to me of that was wasn't that tough? That was wild.
He
Just
said,
kind of...
wasn't that tough that day or the whole experience?
To say he said that would be these are very fuzzy memories. I'm not going to come close to getting his wording right.
And maybe, I've been hesitant to interrupt you because I think this is an interesting story. But now that I have, I will, first of all, say, I think the thing you said a few minutes ago about feeling separated from your family, I think obviously is common to every kid at Excel because it literally was the case.
Yeah.
And I think it's way more common than that. And there's all kinds of ways people have tried to describe those dynamics. And I think, obviously we say we'll get to that a lot, apparently. And I think we should. But, I didn't want to get in the way of the personal story because that's
No, I enjoy the side roads, and I listen to the episodes. I liked them. I was it was great.
We're doing
but
another.
it was too much me talking in blocks and telling stories. This is just as much about your shit. You were there too, dude.
Right. Well, but I think we're about to intersect, in your story. And
I agree.
I think that will help.
I think this will happen naturally, but I did want to just flag, the listener doesn't know what to expect. We've been like thinking about this and planning this for, some amount of time.
True.
The listener, I just feel like they walked away being like, and now here's going to be TC explaining his things while another guy listens. And that's not what we're here to do.
Right. Well, yeah. And I appreciate you saying that. And I think we are in large part here to do that. But we all are also doing things in the present, including this podcast, but other things. So it'll all work in naturally. But I did just want to say, I do think what you're laying out, people have described it as like the scapegoat dynamic or, with feeling sort of alienated. But I think in some ways it is a very like human dynamic. Like many people have said, to feel alone is to feel human. But you can't help but wonder sometimes, if you're the only one. I think that's, again, sort of like the nature of that.
Yeah.
It's universal to feel like it's not universal. But, I've been there as well. And
as adults, you can make those kind of adjustments and like the kind of like, well, I've heard enough people talk about this that I can assume a lot of people experience this. As a kid, you just don't. I mean, you haven't heard that many people talk about it. I mean, like, how much adults talking about their feelings have you heard by age 14? Not a lot, in my experience.
For sure.
So, those isolating feelings, like, they just feel like isolating feelings. There's none of the comfort of this is normal.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I think, again, as an adult, it's hard to say this without feeling like I might be stepping on the way you feel. Again, there's a million ways you can describe it, but like, the part of you that's still 14 and still feels that shouldn't feel like it's time to grow up, but it doesn't mean that the part of you that's sitting here can't say, I have a more nuanced perspective. But anyway, all that is to say, it does help. I don't know, with siblings, it's an interesting topic. I mean, in general, with these schools and the family dynamics you described. I don't think it's always as cut and dry as like one golden child sibling does everything perfectly and one can't get anything right. But you see that that's a spectrum. Like, it
was pretty close to that, dude. He did a really good job. Like, my brother was a really good kid to this day. He's like a great son. If I have a kid, I would much rather be like my brother than me.
I've met him. I mean, he's a great guy. I agree that, I enjoyed when we met. But, you're also a great guy. Obviously, I have to say that.
Thank you, but like, I've whatever.
Actually, I don't have to say that, but I do say it.
You can understand how my parents, like any set of parents, had an experience they were hoping for driving home from the hospital that first day. And I feel like he has largely given them that. And like, I have largely actively worked to deny that. And like, I've got my own reasons and I don't apologize for that. And like, I'm happy with the way things have gone, but like, you do got to observe that and just be like, I'm glad they had him, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think they deserved that. I think they deserved someone who, like, they're good people. They try hard. They love their kids. Like,
plural, including you, I think, right?
Yeah, I said both of them. We only have two kids. So if I pluralized it,
well, I'm sitting here like,
I want to make sure that people understand. I love them very much. I was there today. We see each other a lot. I feel like we spend more time as a family than the average person my age.
Yeah.
And I mean, like everything, like with everything, it's complicated. So I don't want people to hear everything from the last two episodes and everything I'm about to say in future episodes and think that, I mean, I'm presenting one side, like one side of the many-sided relationship and in many ways,
sorry to talk over you.
I was done.
I would say that side is in many ways framed in what is like a real-time contemporaneous account. Like, you're putting yourself back there.
Yeah.
We are commenting on it, and obviously we are right now, but I think it's good that we're getting this out now rather than every fucking time something bad happens and we're like, I was mad at people that I also love. let's take 45 minutes to explain that you can be mad at people you love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, it's a hard lesson to learn, and you have to learn it over and over again for sure. But I'm glad we're having this aspect of that conversation now. But I did just want to say, it does help you kind of put that in perspective when you talk about your parents having a vision of, the ideal kid or whatever. I don't think there's any parent who's like, and then they'll go to Excel Academy, and then they'll go to Yale.
Yeah, of course.
But like the kids who do cleave to that sort of, professional class image of success and, get good grades and play every sport and get along with everybody at school or whatever. I used to, and I still do, dude. I mean, we have to do a Pete Buttigieg episode, I think, eventually. Like, because I had to do a lot of shadow work with, just seeing him around.
We all do,
dude. Yeah, I think so. Like,
yeah, I mean, you read any of the reactions to him online, and it's just people like more or less announcing that they also need to.
Yeah, because everyone writing them is like an online writer, which is like, they did the other thing.
And I agree with all that,
Of course you do. I know. Yeah. But I think that
what I said made it sound like I'm criticizing or and I'm not.
But I think he's a great example, actually. Like, his dad was a professor. And he's clearly like a Democrat Ben Shapiro, like how he's just like, blah, blah, blah. But obviously he talks like Obama now. Like, but I can't do it as well as he does. But he's like really smart. He can, cite James Joyce at will. Like, it's like,
that takes something. I tried diving into that while I was at Excel, and
I like the early ones when he's writing as if he is a child.
I can't.
Once it got more complex, it was harder.
My brain doesn't go up to that floor, dude.
Well, dude, that's why I was talking about book club. I think we could do Ulysses. Like if we took some time. No, I mean that's
the thing. It would take the rest of my life.
No, it would take 2 months.
No,
that's it. Yeah. But
I don't want to. That's not how I want to spend the 2 months of my life.
With or without TC.
I'll spend 2 months on a book, but
you don't have to do Ulysses. That one. It's fine.
It's too dense, dude.
I don't know. I've never really dipped in. I like going sentence by sentence.
I'm just you have to. That's the only you have to understand how each sentence fits with the other ones because it is not immediately apparent.
Yeah, but dude, that's true.
It's really fucking annoying.
That's true of a lot of books that I think it's it should be good always. Like you can just read it through and vibe, but if you break it down.
That.
I think it's very musical. The example sentences I've seen, but
example sentences aren't going to capture it, dude. Like reading a paragraph where you're like, I don't know what a word of that means. It's not a pleasant experience.
I don't know. Do you like Sigur Rós? I'm not sure. Siri and I do not agree on how to pronounce it, but it's spelled S-I-G.
No, I know what you're talking about. I'm not.
They sing in a made-up language, and it vibes hard.
Well, it's different. It's music.
And I mean, James Joyce is, according to somebody.
No one's more primed to like James Joyce.
That is true.
Whenever I read it, it was we were on a book ban at Excel.
Okay.
And there was some situation where it was a teacher that was there after you were there, where he asked me to do something and then was I owe you one or something like that. And I was like, well, if you do, then tell them you're assigning me this book so that I have a reason to read this book.
No way.
I want this book.
What book was it?
It was Ulysses.
Okay. I thought, was that...
I went out of my way to do something that had I been caught, clearly would have gotten me in a lot of trouble. To make sure that I could read Ulysses. I got through 5 pages. It was
fuck.
What is, yeah.
Dang.
I can't do this.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where you have to study it and break it down. I've never done it. I don't know that, but
you would have to.
Sitting at Excel, I never.
Its meaning
wanted
is entirely unclear unless you do. It's the only way you're going to get anything out of it.
But that doesn't mean it's not worth doing.
I'm not here to comment on whether or not it's worth doing. I'm here to comment on whether or not I'm going to do it, and the answer is no.
And look, it wasn't my idea. I mean, I think it was in this moment, but. That's not how I want to start. I forgot. Oh, all I was going to say was Pete Buttigieg quoting James Joyce. I think, dude, do you remember during that debate when he got like, I don't know if he got like owned or somebody like talked over him or something.
If the debates didn't have Donald Trump in them, I didn't watch them.
Fully agree, but
there's no other performers on that level.
Well, I think that's why people were so like scanning for microaggressions on, and this was a Dem debate.
Yeah, the ones I didn't watch.
Yeah. I don't think I watched this. I think I saw a discussion of it, and then like watched a clip. But it was like him nerd raging out. Mm-hmm. Like I want to say it was Amy Klobuchar because it seems like they had
a
nice relationship.
Yeah.
But it was like whatever it was, he like was like, and like everyone noticed it. I think he was like clenching his fist, like, and it was like, oh, where's Nice Boy now? You know, and it's like Nice Boy just got kind of shown up in the debate or in class basically. But it's like we talk about it all the time. That anger, if it's secondary, what's beneath it? And I think as with a lot of this political class, why I don't trust these motherfuckers is because their version of safety is like being blessed by the authority figures. And it's just a ladder of approval seeking. And so you wonder what they will do. You know what I mean? When they're actually worried about losing the thing they've clawed for their entire life.
That is the case with most of them.
For sure. And so I think when everyone saw like Pete, like with the rage out, it was like a very like how like everyone has to see the good kids are also fucking, they suck. Like, I think that's why all the writers online were like, look, see, like he's a fucking asshole. He's not actually an apple polisher all the time. Like, but no one cared except for people who already didn't like him because everyone else was like, you're always fucking mad at your brother. Like, so, but anyway, I just think it puts it in perspective, like with your brother, when they're little, he probably on some level, his version of safety was like, I guess I have to do like TC's so bad. I don't want to be bad. I have to be unlike TC.
100%. I think that he would, I don't think he would have any problem identifying that directly.
Yeah.
Of like that like it did not feel safe whenever I was causing problems. Like, we're yelling the whole time.
For sure.
For like hours. We're screaming at each other.
That's not that when you're a child.
And he doesn't, like me, like I've got some points to prove. So like I'm enjoying this yelling as I do pretty much anytime I'm yelling.
Well, you're at war.
I like conflict.
It's like we're at war. Now we're, it is a force that gives us meaning. Like it's a hurry up and wait, and you're in the hurry up, like at that moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like just as a person, like as a personality, like I just, I need like a certain amount of like.
Do you find that you
aggression.
Struggle? Yeah, like do you find that you need something to be against, or do you struggle with being for something versus like opposing things?
I mean, I certainly like can take a step back and look at which one I do more, but like as whether or not I can be for something, I clearly can. I'm not like without that ability.
Yeah.
But I just mean, like I'll find myself like saying something sharp to Megan.
Yeah.
And like I know it's not about that thing, it's like I need to say sharp words to people for a certain amount of my day. Like it's bad. It's the worst thing. Oh. Every time I read like, this Hollywood star is emotionally abusive, I'm like,
sure.
Yeah. Maybe that was like me spun out of control. Like he's experiencing the same thing, but it's in far greater degrees. So it's not like me, but like, maybe not. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
like if she took all the worst things that I'd done and said and like put them in front of a journalist and they wrote them up and like, here's the three big things. Is that going to look that different than like this article that I'm reading in horror? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. It's just stuff, I mean, like I don't, whatever.
Well, I do think, okay. I mean, dude, we're millennial dudes in our, You know, I feel like it's that UK office. Like we're in our 30s. It's like one of them's 39, one's 31.
Yeah.
But,
whatever, dude.
But like
we went to high school together. Don't.
Definitely. Because it took me 7 years to graduate it.
But it's true. We went to high school together.
Definitely. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so kind of like we have some of the same touchstones, and certainly at Excel. I mean, I feel like we need to do a Mel Gibson episode. And because we watched so much Mel Gibson, at least when I
I don't think I watched that much.
But he's obviously insane. Not untalented. But I think it is that same symptom that we were talking about the other day, or the earlier episodes, where you just lose control of your emotions because you're never talking about them. So they just pop up, and they're these repressed monsters that are so terrifying. And then it's like fucking go time. And I think these guys with these emotional rage outs often are guys who just never had that light turn on, or like turn that corner, or maybe they turned it, but they need to keep turning it, over and over again in hopefully slightly less worse ways. But that does make for a lot of articles. And, I know we're about the whole person, but, it's...
Yeah, I feel like certainly these efforts have increased over the last several years, but like, I try to give other outlets to the pressure, like I don't feel like I'm terrible about letting it build up, but like, I don't know. Like I said, I need some amount of conflict, but I was saying that in service of saying, with agreeing with you that like my brother is sitting there as a small child, hearing all of the people in his life like yell at each other. And I think that he's working backwards from how do I make sure that this doesn't happen?
For sure.
Yeah. And, I support him in that, like that's a reasonable reaction. It did lead him to like successful thing, like he went to a competitive high school. He did well there, like
whose definition of success? But that is important. That's important to get along in the world.
Yeah.
But you did well, we know, at a very competitive high school, ultimately.
It was not a competitive high school.
Yeah.
My graduating class was 14, and,
Yeah?
Some of them, it didn't feel like they were competing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get to that.
I mean, it was an interesting experience, like the intellectual abilities of people at Excel. It was just all the extremes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a lot of people in the middle.
Kids who couldn't read.
Yeah.
And kids who were probably geniuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the escorts memory that I had from that I just, I don't know. This felt really big to me, and like, but it was one of those things where like, it felt huge, but like I was the only one. Like Megan, like kind of out of the corner of her eye, like saw me like having my moment, and was like more or less like, don't do that here right now. Like that would be embarrassing. So whenever it was this summer, my parents sold their house.
Okay. And
it so happened that I went and hung out with our friend Daniel that weekend.
Okay.
And so like, he's our friend because he also went to Excel.
He's the man.
And because he's one of the coolest people I met there.
Yeah. Call me back.
Yeah. And so, he and I, we'd like to do heavy hallucinogenics. And I find that usually like the next day, like things are raw in like a way that I like. Like I can really do some processing.
That more? Yeah.
Like my heart feels open. Like I'm just like a lot of times it's like, you don't realize how much you do this until you aren't doing it. And like the only time I don't do it is like the day after like a heavy trip. But how much you're like starting to like feel a full emotion and you're like, don't have time for that right now. Like we got to go buy this sandwich. Like let's just keep going, keep it moving.
Yes.
We do not have time to feel all the feelings.
Absolutely.
But like, you know, I'd go down, hang out with him, talking about Excel a ton, you know, like really digging through some deep stuff. And like the whole drive back, I'm just like, you know, a song will come on and like, I'll be like crying, just like happy.
Do you remember any of the songs?
Yeah, I was listening to the Carrie and Lowell, the Sufjan Stevens album, which I think has a tendency to be a fairly emotional experience for anyone in any situation.
I've never heard it, but
it's about like he had like a absentee mother who like had a lot of mental issues.
Okay.
And she died.
Wow.
And like it was you know, she died and he wrote it, you know,
wow.
Like he was trying to like get it out, you know, like
So you're driving home listening to that after going, wow.
Because I could have known, or I can't remember if it's could or should. I should, since it's one of my favorite songs, but should have known better.
Should have known better.
The song in specific that I was just like on repeat, dude. Like just fucking,
awesome.
I mean, it's very like, it's such a beautiful,
Is it like, because I know about Sufjan Stevens,
sure,
but I didn't, you know, especially stuff that came out when I was working a lot. I just didn't catch everything.
Yeah.
So is like softly strumming Sufjan or like weirder?
Yeah. So after like one of the, you know, in my unquenchable desire to have more of this song, I went and watched his full set at Sasquatch. And before he plays that, he's like, well, sorry to do this, but sad bastard time, more or less, you know?
Okay. That's
hope
funny.
you were enjoying the upbeat ones. I'm contractually bound to play this. It was kind of a hit.
But it's also like, you little piggies are at a Sufjan Stevens concert. You are also sad bastards, so get your fucking clicks out.
But he more or less like you know, it's a cyclical thing, like the way all music is, like that he's working through the same rhyme scheme a couple times, you know, and the first times that he's doing it, it's like it's very much sounds like a broken person, just of like too much has happened, you know, like I'm fucking battered by this. I don't know what to do. And then like there's a, you know, moment in the music where like it stops and like he gathers himself and like, you know, like it feels to me, my experience listening to it is like he's you know, focusing and summoning up all the strength he has to be like, I'm going to like fucking figure this out. I'm going to move forward. Like I'm going to take these like broken parts that are laying around me.
Sure.
I will put them into, you know, whatever they need to be into, and like we will fucking move forward. Right. And I love the song. Like it's I don't know.
That's sick.
And like I can feel myself like with the ability to do that when I'm listening to it, you know? Like as he's making that turn, I'm like, I can too, dude.
That rules. And this is like a chill Sufjan song?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a sad song. Yeah.
So you're not like getting jacked up. Like this isn't like a workout song.
I mean, no. Okay. I mean, the part I'm talking about, like it's
like quiet resolve, building resolve.
But like it like expands musically some.
Sure. Okay.
Like they're putting in more stuff. You know, and I mean, like it's more energy in it. You know, I mean, like that's the point.
Okay.
And so I'm listening to that song on repeat, driving back. And I'm driving back and like I got to be there at a certain time because my parents were like, we're selling the house, like it's closing on Tuesday, so like there's a pool at the house.
Okay.
Why don't we all just like go swim in the pool one last time, say goodbye to the house and everything, which was awesome idea. Glad we did it. Had a great day. But like whatever we were all, you know, like everyone's getting dressed or whatever, you know, like switching into their swim clothes. There was like a moment where like I was the only one like downstairs and I was standing in the room where like all this happened, like the conversation of you're going on a 1 to 3 month adventure. And like, you know, whenever you do certain drugs, your memory gets a lot more vivid. That's an experience I have. And like, dude, I felt like I was there. Like I felt like I was in the fucking room.
Sure.
And
you were.
Yeah. No, but I mean like,
yeah.
You know, in that fucking second.
Yeah.
You know,
could you describe it? Like, what does it mean to feel like you're time traveling emotionally, kind of?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you know, just it's impossible to describe, but I will do my best. Like that's the main thing is that I experience is like, it's just too big.
Yeah.
You know, like
did you feel small?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like someone emailed me after the first 2 episodes, valued listener, and said like, "You're a sharp guy. Like, how come you didn't knock it off because you knew that these consequences were out there?" And the answer is
no one posed that question, I think.
I had no idea these consequences were out there.
Oh, really?
I had no fucking clue that a school like this existed. The level of control that like someone else exerted over my life over the following 4 years was entirely unanticipated. I had not taken time to imagine a situation where someone could be able to control another person like that. Like,
interesting.
I think most people walk around not being aware of it today. Like, why would you need to be aware of it?
I agree, and that's part of the reason we're doing this, obviously.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows like jail exists. Like, I mean, everyone knows there are places where people get controlled.
Everyone knows jail exists. I've never been to jail, but like, I don't think it was like, I think that had some similar experiences.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
and like, I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, and like you technically knew you could go to jail, like if you killed somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that's what was the more shocking moment for many kids. And I know we haven't even gotten you to Excel yet. And I think that's why it's good that we're starting with your story, not mine, because I had plenty of chances. Like, that's why I got a little sarcastic with the listener question. Like, I was like, oh, if only someone had said, oh, you're smart. Why don't you think about the consequences? Like, oh, okay. I will. Thank you for your wisdom. You know what I mean? It's like maybe, obviously, kind listener, we love them all. But like, you can just feel things, and it can make you do things that are that crazy. In my experience, but in yours, you were like the kids who, this is where you find out that not every teacher at least has to pretend to be nice. Like, it seems like there was a lot of kids for that. I remember there was a kid who they did like a big regime change, where it's like the new schedules, blah, blah, blah. They would do that periodically.
Yeah, yeah.
And a kid who was relatively new, who went on to become like ultra strength, raised his hand and he was like, well, when does fun come into this? And I was like, boy, like, longer for you than for many of us. Like, now that you've asked that.
And is that how it played out?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Like, the whole room drew a breath. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, yeah, like.
And that's the feeling I'm talking about, my brother living in and being like, never again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Because you did get that a lot where you were like, it's gonna hurt so bad for him, it hurts me to think about it, and it's not gonna come close to me. But
like as a matter of empathy, it's like, ooh boy, like
I don't want to see anyone get ripped apart like that.
Yeah,
not my worst enemy.
Yeah. It reminded me like in like in like a court when someone makes the objection, like no foundation, assumes facts not in evidence. I feel like your question about when does fun come in assumes a lot of facts that are not in evidence. Yeah, so, but anyway, all right. So sorry.
But yeah, what did it feel like? Like because you've got this like new information that like your body just like can't take in. Like it's too big. It's like that mass isn't going to fit in that opening. Like, of like this large piece of information that schools exist like this and you're going to be at one for 4 years, like just doesn't go into your brain. And like, because of that, it's like all like feel like, we all get security from understanding the world around us. Like that's the only place it comes from. And whenever things are shaken up to that degree, it's like, well, if I was wrong to this degree about this, then like I was wrong about everything. And it's like, I don't know what a fact I can cling to is.
Right.
And so you're just like entirely lost in it. I don't know. In between us recording the other ones and doing this, Megan and I were sitting around and, it was late in the night and we were, good and stoned or whatever.
Sure.
And I was, we were looking at like websites or whatever, just like, and I pulled up the the school, like it's now a wedding venue.
Right.
And so there's lots of pictures of it on the internet.
Yes.
And I was looking at they have interior shots of the building that I was brought to. You know, I mean, like I had my intake. We could talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And then they take you to the dorm. Like I got there, I think it was like 9:00 at night. So it was just like process him quickly, get him to sleep. Okay. And so they didn't even like introduce me to anyone. Like, you know, it was just like, you're here. I know you got a lot of questions. We don't got time for that shit. Like fucking go in there and go to sleep. And like, I don't know, something like seeing those pictures, like being messed up, haven't done this recently. Like it was the most vividly I've been back in that moment of like laying in that bed being like, I don't know the name of like a person in this room right now. And there's like eight dudes in this room.
Right.
And like, I'm supposed to go to sleep now. And like, they didn't have a bunk for me. So like they just like threw a mattress on the ground or were like, you know, we'll figure it out tomorrow.
You slept on the floor your first night?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right? Like,
I did not know that.
It's a security risk they don't usually take. They usually make the new kids sleep in a top bunk so that it creaks whenever they get out so that no one's...
I've forgotten they did that.
Yeah.
Well, and bottom bunk was a coveted bunk anyway.
Yeah, big time privilege for sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, that like, I don't know, dude.
Well, no, I think you were onto something really important about losing the thread, kind of. Like when you realize, like, my entire concept of reality had a huge missing piece, and that is where I have to live in that missing piece now, indefinitely.
Like, whenever they showed up in, like, this conversation I'm talking about that I recalled and, like, you know, almost fell apart this summer.
Sure.
Thinking about it, like, it starts, that's when, like, they start tugging on the thread, but then like things start happening pretty fast, right? It's like, you know, I know that you were just told this, but like you do gotta like go, for some reason they let me go to my room to grab something.
The escorts did at your parents' house?
Yeah, because we were downstairs in like the room more or less like right, it's like what you're walking into when you walk in the front door.
Okay.
And then, like, I just have a scene in my head of being, like, of standing in my room, like, asking him, like, can I bring this? Can I bring this? And, you know, the answer to all of it is no.
Sure.
You know, like, I came there with the clothes that I had on. They changed me into a jumpsuit. They put those clothes in a box and sent it back to my parents. Like, zero possessions came in with me.
Right.
And so, you know, I do remember that. I don't know how I got up there, but, you know, like that, just that, working through that of like, well, surely I can bring this. Right. It's like, no, dude, nothing, right. nothing.
Right.
And so that's, you know, is it starting to like, then it's unraveling a little more. You're like, okay, wow, things are shifting fast here. And then, you know, you got the car ride down and everything, but like, then the intake happens fast, you know, where like they're telling you like, you know, you got to do all this.
And so hold on, but the car ride down, I know the answer here, so I'm not going to ask a fake question. You slept on the way down.
That's my recollection.
And well, I think that's a significant detail now in light of I don't want to call it like
that's a standard way of handling things.
Well, you just had a traumatic experience, it sounds like. Like, I mean, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, that's usually how I'd react to that. So
yeah, it's like
to sleep. Like, time like it's not like sleep like I'm tired. It's like if I close my eyes, like will my brain stop because that's what I want. And like it will usually. You know, like it also knows that it's not ready for this. Like time is required.
Sleeper, right? Like
pretty good most of the time. You know, I mean, like sometimes things as I get older, it's harder. But you know,
like
yes, but like you know, it's I understand that, like, I knew that I could get to here, you know, where like most of the time I'm not even really thinking about this shit. It doesn't weigh down my day to day. Like it was this problem of like things are going on that are more extreme than I thought could go on.
Right.
And so now I am like questioning everything. Like I knew that with enough time, like I don't know how much actively I was thinking about it then, but like whenever I do this sleep thing, it's that I know that if you put enough time, it's going to be manageable. And if you go to sleep at one time, when you wake up, it's later.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
And so like, let's do that.
Yeah. Sure. More time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the just to finish off the thread, the thing that I was trying to relay to her as I was looking at the pictures of the wedding venue was just that feeling whenever I like was able to lay down and like now it's all caught up to you. You know, like now you've got the time to like really consider the ramifications of everything that's just occurred. I'd slept in the car, so like sleep wasn't coming easy.
Right. So this is your head's hitting the pillow. You're on a mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
There are sheets on the mattress. You have one pillow.
Yeah.
Pretty decent pillow. I would say a regular pillow.
Yeah.
They got flat pretty quick, but you know, we don't need to pile on the complaints about the pillows. There's plenty to complain about. All right, and then
I'm wearing a jumpsuit.
You're wearing an orange jumpsuit
that has "Runaway Call 911" written on it.
This is a good moment, but let's just say the intake was fast, but it wasn't that fast. So
no, we can talk about the intake.
I know, but I think that's what I'm saying. But this is an important moment that you're describing when your head's hitting the pillow, everyone's quiet. Because it got pretty quiet pretty quick after lights out. I mean, the times when it didn't, it was anarchy in the dorms. It was like, shit has to change. And so this is the first time since that process you laid out, you know, Tony Hawk, since you paused your game for this, that you have a moment to think.
Yeah.
I think. You can think in the car with the escorts-ish, but you're asleep and you can't really. I mean, you're watching these...
And it's like we're still in the process. Like you're in a car, you're going somewhere, you know? So it's like, what is this place going to be like? Like there's a lot. You can't just sit, like it's still moving.
Yeah.
Like the laying in the bed, it's like the journey is done.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It's almost like the opposite of getting back from the beach.
Now I've got to like start to process all this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you know, just whenever I was trying to explain it to Megan a couple days ago, it was like I like the word that was like overcoming, like, and I don't think I would have been able to like tell you this at the time. But, like the word is scared. Like I was terrified, and like terrified in ways like if I don't know how to be terrified. Like it almost would have been easier if I was scared that like I thought it was jail and like someone was going to beat me up.
I was going to ask you, did you think that?
I mean, it would have been a blessing to have it be that specific.
Yeah. So it's just
I did not have that blessing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's like I don't know. I don't know what to be afraid of. I just know that I'm positive there's something here I should be afraid of, and I was correct.
Right. You
know,
plenty.
And it's like
there's plenty,
and we're gonna figure it out that it's gonna be fucking bad, and like you know, it just the total like just fucking shaking in terror.
Really? Were you shaking? I mean,
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, plenty of people do. I think I mean, it was like my third program. So like at that, but at my earlier programs, I had the exact same feeling of like, and being like, are these guys going to beat me up? I don't know. I mean, there are big boys there. And you know, I don't know. And you're the jumpsuit with call 911, it's bright orange. So I feel like all of that is like super jarring. Like you were, you know, at Plano High School acting out, but still
Plano
going.
East, sir. And I was at Williams.
Okay.
It's important to people.
It is, clearly. I apologize.
Williams is the 9th and 10th grade school that feeds into Plano East for 11th and 12th. Williams and Clark both do that.
Thank you for your patience in telling me that.
For some reason, you know, I mean, like last episode when I'm telling you, like, it's the 7-Eleven at Park and Jupiter, like, for some reason, I bet that someone who lives somewhat near there will hear this, and I want them to have that specific experience. You know, like, I want them to know.
This is a Dallas podcast, I think.
So I want it to be rooted in, you know, vivid details for the people who, you know, have access to those locations.
I love that. Okay. Yes, yeah. I agree. It wasn't important to the point I was making. That's why I was cavalier about the specifics. But
you're right.
I feel like if someone kept saying like, I don't know, you're from Houston, not Dallas. I'm away from the mic. Sorry. You know, no one likes to be misdescribed, so I apologize to you.
think if you like kind of angle it more towards you too, that would do us some good. Just like I feel like right now the vibrations you're sending out are going over the top of it. If they go into it, like that.
Do we need to?
I bet we'd be better.
Do you think it got me at all?
I think it did, but I think it'll be better now.
Okay.
It's not essential. Don't rework your entire. If I thought it was a crisis, I would have said something a lot earlier.
Is this okay?
45 minutes in.
Okay. This is better.
Yeah,
or is this back to square one?
No. I think it's better.
Okay.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
This is excellent posture.
Listener probably won't even be able to tell.
Listener should check the video out for this posture.
But yeah, we're back to the thing where I'm talking too much. So I think that there's some part of this occurring, like some major part of the story is happening without me there. Like, what was that day like there before
So it's like, as you know, because this is when we intersect. Yeah, that's interesting. The days blend, and then you have events. You know what I mean? So it's like, I remember 9/11. It was a pretty bright day, and then I remember us, gathered around the TV like later in the day. You know what I mean?
But it's important to know they didn't say a word until you guys were done with school.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Which I think was like 4 p.m.
Something like that. It feels maybe a little earlier than that, but it was afternoon for sure. It was another one of those instances where a bunch of people in the room knew and didn't tell you, because the teachers knew. So they definitely...
But 0 students, you would say.
Correct.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the ultra senior ones got told. Like
I don't think so.
A staff, basically like the junior staff ones or something. But
I know, so you weren't, like, there at that point, boy, if it wasn't then like within weeks, there was 2 kids who lived with the staff.
Well, we got to talk about all of that, dude, because that actually timeline
so they might have known
for me.
But I'm just
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Outside of them,
yeah.
Like you would have been the person they're telling, though. Like
I don't know. So was I a senior when you? I mean, we'll figure this out. Yeah, that seems right.
Because we were there together for 2 years. The first of those years was your senior year. The second year, you stayed for a year after you were done with high school.
Yeah. So,
which I don't know. Still just...
Well, we got to talk about that too, because...
I know. We can do many episodes on it. I'm sure it looms large, but like, Jesus Christ, if they can't let you go, then like, what are we doing?
Well, I mean, the short answer is I think they were doing...
You're the valedictorian of your class, dude. Like...
No, I know.
And we're like the most in top 2 of the school as far as like respected, doing it the right way. And then you graduate.
I don't think that's true, dude.
And they were like, well, I think he's got more to learn.
Well, okay. First of all, it's a
fucking racket.
Yeah, it's a racket. It's a cult setup. It's a pyramid scheme. And I had a lot to offer. Like, I was a very valuable kid there by then. Like, I was good at it.
That's an important thing to understand, because like by the time I left, I was occupying what you probably would call the same space. Like in the hierarchy of like how many more kids on this campus are more trusted, I would say I was in about the same spot. But I was never like, I could tell that whenever they were like, all right, we've got a parent that like we really want to land their kid. Mm-hmm. So like we're going to do a tour.
Right.
That when they would send me, it felt like they were kind of being like, man, I wish we had something else. I wish our best option was better.
But just knowing you, I mean, we're different people.
And it's not like you were the only, like you were not singular. Like there were a lot, like.
Dude, I didn't give a fuck, dude. I will give a good tour at like talk about what makes you safe, dude. I by that point had stood in the corner and been jumpsuited for like not catching the wildest shit on like. We'll get to it, but like the mail, I think this had happened like right before you got there, maybe.
Oh, okay.
They read everybody's mail, right?
Of course.
So they deputized kids to read the mail at some point.
It seems crazy.
Well, it's like what's really being written in.
And they would go in and out of it. Sometimes you couldn't.
Couldn't what?
I remember times, or maybe it was incoming. There was definitely mail that they did not trust kids to read at times when I was there.
Well, so what they had the kids do, it used to be a staff member, and then no staff member, I think, wanted to do it anymore. And so they had kids who basically, you could pass on something if it was utterly unobjectionable. You could give it out. Any question, you were basically a first pass.
Yeah.
And then it got elevated to a staff member. And there was this other kid who became basically the mailman. He had all his mail. He had like a box with folders. Do you remember that? Like,
yeah.
And he was.
I'm not positive I know who you're talking about, but I remember that.
Like a black, plastic kind of file box. Anyway.
I'm just not sure. I'm sure there's different kids that attacked mail with ferocity during different times. Is this one that had spent any time in Switzerland?
No.
Okay.
But he also was a super mailman.
Yeah.
And we actually this is when I learned, it was actually like, there's levels to this shit. Like, it was a very levels to the shit moment because either me and that guy or me and the guy I'm thinking of, so we were doing phone calls. So also, obviously, we'll get to all this. Like,
we're trying to be cool in general. Who knows where these people are in their life and whether it'd be advantageous or a big problem if someone identified them publicly as being in rehab.
Right.
I don't know. It's probably not a big deal, but we're trying to be chill.
Thank you. Yeah. I think we're succeeding. Anyway, I missed a kid said in a letter to his mom, I'm loving this spring-like weather we're having, but it was fall. But it was spring-like weather. So, and he was there like a week, maybe. Parents yank him, which would happen about 1 out of 20 times. Usually the mom gets like cold feet. And
Jesus, dude.
I know. Well, rage out or,
what a fucking dream.
Often they went somewhere else. But
but not that day.
Yeah, for sure. And you get to be like,
I wanted it so bad. And the thing is, I got the opposite, Like, I had 4 years of watching other people be here for like 2 weeks. I know. Yeah.
Well, so that kid gets pulled.
There was one kid that he eventually got sent there, but and this was definitely not told to me in like a life skills setting. It was told to me in like a, no strength is around. Let's tell some tales.
Okay.
His parents, he lived in the greater Houston area. And so they knew they were going to send him here. And like Conroe was far enough away that like they didn't want to like make it 1 day drive or something like that. So they stayed at a hotel near the campus.
Okay.
And we're like, we're taking you in the next day. Okay. And like when they fell asleep, he stole the keys, like when like rounded up his friends.
What a G.
And like as part of that, like was like made an impassioned plea to them of like, this is how much it means to me, like not to do this. Like, please don't do this. And they didn't.
Wow.
Like he got another month or whatever. And like, then he fucked it up and they were like, no, we do have to, I mean it this time.
Fuck.
And he was there for at least a year.
Still legendary.
But yeah, he got that. That was the wildest. Like, cause there was kids that would be there and would leave. And then like, I'd say 4 or 5 times in my experience, like kids came back.
Yeah.
And like, as much as I was envious of kids who like got to leave after 2 weeks, I felt the exact same degree of emotion in the opposite direction of like, at least they never let me taste the freedom.
And then send you back.
Cause I couldn't. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I'm like, I can't.
I cannot imagine.
I've been frank about drug use in this podcast, but like there are drugs that I 100% will not touch. Like it's a hard, bright line in my mind because I'm like, that's a drug that people go to rehab for and I'm never fucking going back.
Interesting. Well, you can go to rehab for a lot, dude.
I feel like the main culprits, like, dude, fucking cocaine and heroin, what percentage of rehab is made up by people with those habits?
Interesting question. I wonder.
It's high. It's high.
Yeah. For sure. I think alcohol has got to be the number one.
I don't do that either.
And it's true. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
I don't do stuff you can get sent to rehab for, dude.
I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I got sent to rehab for weed for sure.
Yeah, like, no. So did I, Alex.
Yeah, but no, I mean like the ones you're talking about. Yeah, I did.
What do you mean?
I went to rehab when I was 14 for smoking too much weed.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it can happen to you when you're 14. It can't happen to you when you're 34.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. I might have been 15 also, for the record.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
I was so as I mentioned, December 11th is my birthday. So I was about to turn 15. I was less than a month from 15 so when I arrived at Excel.
Okay.
So I can say 14 because that is true. Yeah. But it was pretty much 15.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't remember the day. Whatever else I was distracting everybody with, forget it. But oh yeah, that fucking kid got pulled and it was my fault because I didn't notice that it was a code. Spring like meant something's wrong, and so that I got jumpsuited because that kid got pulled out after a week.
I've gotten jumpsuited off of similar bullshit
because they're just pissed off that they just lost 50 G's, dude.
Yeah,
and but it's like this is your fault.
What do you want?
Yeah, I know, dude. It was spring like weather, but it's like I said that and went from like shirt to jumpsuit. You know, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like you want me flagging shit like this? All right. You know, I mean, I'll flag everything. So then we were doing phone calls, and I would have my list of issues.
And like, of course, I don't do it's not a way that we often talk. I don't know how you get whatever. My heart just aches for you, dude. Like thinking about it, like just fucking because that experience of like they are so mad. And they are not, like, there is no circumstance under which they're going to consider that it is not your fault.
It's all of our fault, dude.
But it's obviously not your fault.
Well, of course not.
And, like, to have to live, like, people like you and I that, like, have, you know, like, being smart is a curse there in so many fucking ways. And, like, we're trying, like, because we have brains that are, like, very active, like you are trying constantly to like assemble the order to these places. And like the people who ran them were aggressively non-ordered people. And so whenever you're doing this thing of like, all right, I'm going to figure out the path to not feel that wrath. And then something like that comes along where it's like, what fucking path could you make? Right. Where you wouldn't feel wrath from something like that. There isn't one.
This
is a problem your brain can't solve, and like it's so tough.
And they would notice. So this happened before you got there, but that's why I was saying like I was fully over any ambivalence in terms of like doing what was expected of me because I did my first probably 12 months maybe kind of carve out an area. I got in trouble a lot when I first got there. Not like a lot of kids do, but like, you know, a regular new kid amount, I would say.
Yeah.
And then like kids, there were no runaways and then they got like more serious. And I forgot. Oh yeah. And then a bunch of older kids left. And I think they started to realize like, you know, the pyramid scheme, we have plenty of people at the bottom, but we don't have like the enforcers of like the students that we make our eyes and ears or whatever. And so they basically were like, you're coasting, you have to do everything around here. And that's, you know, we can talk about it at length, but like the staying an extra year, I think that basically it was like a control thing, first of all, always wanting more, but it wasn't fully money because they did, if not fully, like heavily discount whatever tuition like my parents would have paid. I think because I brought them in on the tours, you know, when I stayed after a year of high school, I taught 8th graders. And because
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, which was fun as fuck, dude. I mean, I would do it again. In that,
those
not
kids
in
kind
that
of
setup.
sucked.
No, I liked them, man. I mean, there are a few, you know, bad apples.
I just feel like at that point you're above the fray. Like I had to live with them.
Yeah, that is true. That I feel you on that. They would suck to live with. I can already think like how that would be. But my point is like they didn't have to hire a staff member, and they couldn't have hired a staff member to do some of the stuff I was doing by the time I was a senior. You know, that really did help them. I'm sure they also believed I would die like if I left early. But I think what they really seized on was my parents didn't really know what to do with respect to college, and I didn't know what to do with respect to college, and they monitored the communication so heavily, and I had so few visits that they basically could do like a, I don't know what the phrase is.
The so few visits is a key part of that.
Yeah. Because I'm from New Jersey, and I mean, I guess some kids from New Jersey, their parents came down like every month, but mine didn't.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, I don't think every month. Anyway, what I'm saying is like
there was kids who didn't have many visits, and like, you know, I don't know, it's uncomfortable to say because I'm sitting across the table from one of them, but like it sure seemed like it fucking sucked. Like it was much like,
yeah, dude.
Like we were in the same place, but like they were doing a harder thing, and like my like the ones that loom large, like pretty much all are from New Jersey.
Interesting. Yeah,
man, there was one where like this chick's mom, like I just figured for the longest time, because she never visited, that like they just didn't have it. Like she didn't have the money. Like that it was like, cause that made sense. Like where you're like taking out your second mortgage to send your kid to this very expensive school.
right.
And so like the resources are stretched thin. So like the idea that I'm going to afford a plane ticket every month, like
Right.
not a chance. Like my parents is fucking $30 worth of gas.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I mean, you got to rent out the hotel room for, you know, a couple nights, but
and if you have other kids,
not
you know,
the
it
end
can
of the
be
world.
Disruptive.
But then I found out that her mom worked at like a huge bank, like as like a higher up.
Really?
And just had an intense fear of flying.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I found it out. That's how I remember it. You know, I mean, like
Well, a lot of times the reason is the tip of a very big iceberg.
And I would say, you know, then it's kind of like, I wonder if the job was so big that like the idea that I got to be able to like take the time away from work to drive down to Texas and drive back.
Yeah.
It's a considerable time investment that like people that my work are not going to be understanding of possibly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. It's hard to put myself in those shoes.
I'm not sure if you knew her or not.
I just have issues. I don't know this person's parents, but like fear of flying, I don't know. I mean, people have their fears. What I'm saying is a lot of times, sometimes bigger picture issues are going on.
Yeah, you know, they sent the kids to school.
Yeah, exactly. But with all I'm saying with like my visits, I think basically they were like, they told my parents, Alex needs to figure out, you know, what's going on. Like they're basically like, he needs another year of warehousing. He's not ready, I think, because we've never had this like conversation fully out. And you can recall this, while telling me, you better stay. You think you're leaving, you're not. Don't even try it. Like a lot of don't even try it. Don't even try it. You're not leaving. Don't even think about it.
Which in retrospect just scans as them being terrified of you trying it.
I agree.
But like at the time, they had such a good like game going of what we said earlier, like just kind of overplaying, but in a way that was not going to cost them. What we said last episode about just them being emotionally intelligent, like that they would build this slight advantage they had of being a little bit more emotionally intelligent than the average person. They knew how to like...
I would say significantly more, dude.
I think that they, like, I mean, whatever.
This is
however much more they were, they also had the ability to project that was larger than that. You got to agree with that.
Yes. Or I don't have a meaningful distinction for this conversation.
I mean, like, part of the emotional intelligence they had is understanding how to make what they had look larger than it was.
Exactly. They could project out an aura, but they knew that. And so for me, it was like, first of all, they're telling your parents for years, it's part of the new parent packet. They're emotionally manipulative. They're going to lie to you. They're going to tell you it's terrible. They're going to try to go home. You have to tell us when they do that, because that's like that's a relapse that they're doing.
You understand how like this cult's not going to work unless we have this as an establishing thing?
Definitely.
Like it's performing such a clear function.
Yeah, and there was no internet.
Whether or not it's true is kind of irrelevant, but like...
Well, until the jig is up, it's not up. So
not really been my thing.
Well, for me...
Being manipulative, I'm... pretty much tell people what's going on in my head 99% of the time.
Which can be a manipulation tactic.
Whatever, dude.
I agree.
Everyone's trying to make things work out for themselves. Like, I understand that. But, like, you get what you see with me more than a lot of people. And, like, this is no special insight. But, like, of course, more than them.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But I think, emotionally manipulative, another way of phrasing that is saying emotionally intelligent, but not directed to the goal that we want them to be directed to, I think. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to figure out if I'm emotionally manipulative or not, but my brain immediately goes to like, isn't it manipulative to say that you either are or are not, like either way?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, but that's the kind of training they give you of like, always consider that you're being a piece of shit, which actually is like not bad advice as long as you also consider the possibility that there's like at least a decent, hazily visible path that you can walk that will put you in a better direction. I think that's where they gave you their version of that, I guess, and their version of the 12 steps. But all of this is just to say, because I do want to, it's not like I volunteered because I was like down with the mission and wanted to do an extra year, so that the school could save the world. But I had seen enough kids who tried to take, I want to leave, including I want to leave after graduation, and have it blow the fuck up to where they spent an extra year or 18 months or more, like, doing all of that college program shit. And so basically I didn't want to do that, but I knew if I tried to, first of all, it's too late to apply to colleges. Like everybody kind of pocket vetoed it, and you know what I mean? Like it didn't happen in the fall.
Yeah.
They didn't really get that, but I knew it. So like Jamie's like, you think you're going to leave? I was like, I don't really think I am, because where am I going to go? I don't think my parents just want me living at home, like working at 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? Like I went and worked at Target for like 6 weeks, like after my freshman year of college, and it was good that we moved on. You know what I mean? So, and I knew that, like that wasn't in the cards. So I was like, and I haven't applied to any colleges, let alone been accepted to any.
No, I had a summer living at home working at the Black Eyed Pea my freshman year after school. And that's the closest that we've ever been to like back being in the dynamic that caused me to be sent there. It was a very unhappy time.
I wouldn't do it. It's not good.
No.
And because they are still, at least from what I've seen.
I mean, because I had all of the like, because they had like taught me very well how to feel guilty. Like that was a large part of what their project was.
Yeah.
It was almost harder than like the stuff that I had with like the arguments we had at 14, because like they were certainly like less, and like the tone was like, I mean, it was uncomfortable. It was quieter than that.
Yeah.
Because everything would be, but it was still like, it was, man, you try, like, it was the number one priority in your entire life, whether you wanted it to be or not, for 4 years, to learn how to not do this stuff. And here you are doing it. Like, what does life hold for you, dude?
Yeah, that's tough. But
what can you do when you can't learn anything?
That's a bleak way of putting it, but I mean, obviously I would say this is another facts, not an evidence. I mean, you've learned some stuff.
I understand. I'm talking about how I felt then, not what the reality is. The reality is obviously different.
Yeah, I think I just had a different framework coming out. I didn't stay at home that much, so it really only took like one pretty quick like.
Yeah, how many do you know like how many months you've spent in New Jersey since the day you were sent away? Yeah.
Not many, dude.
I know.
I mean, probably I've spent more in Pennsylvania, like just because I was a camp counselor there. So that's like, I would go up and stay there, and then drive to the Poconos. Mm-hmm. So, and I would go there for Christmas, which was like a 4-week holiday. It's a little long.
Yeah.
Like I was ready to get back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never lived back there. Since
that
then.
just always blows my mind. Like,
yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I like it when I go up and visit. Like Princeton is beautiful. Parts of the Jersey Shore are very beautiful. Actually, it is a beautiful state. But the people, dude, are
Yeah,
I like to be the only one. Like, it's not like I'm that much different from them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't need a whole room of us.
Just, my experience was like arrived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area when I was 2, like got sent down there, immediately returned here for college, and like have lived here ever since. So like,
yeah, I'm more of a nomad, but I like Dallas, dude. I feel like I've put down some roots.
And like my good friend that had this similar experience, of like he never returned home and lives in Texas now.
Yeah.
He told me, and I've got this on wax somewhere. I don't know how this fits with my other project to attempt to interview Excel students. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like I have some interviews I've conducted with Excel students, and I would like to do more. And I don't know.
Like kind of walking around instinct is that would be better for you to do. I think.
I'm certainly happy to do it,
Yeah.
But some part of that feels like you're putting yourself down, which I do not accept. No. I think that you're perfectly. I think anything you try your hand at, you're going to be pretty good. It's going to turn out well.
No, I think it would be fine, but I think.
But I have him on wax, being like when he arrived at Wilderness, they were like, "You're not going to live at home again in like the rest of your life, and like you need to start kind of wrapping your mind around that." Yeah,
I got a similar talk before Excel.
Jesus, that's a tough talk.
Yeah, well, it's the moment you talked about.
And I mean, he was older than I was.
It's that moment.
It's like he had 2 years left at home.
This shit's different now.
But yeah,
definitely.
Like, I mean, because the moment, like, whenever I got back, like the first home visit after 2 years, I got there November 16, 2001, Thanksgiving of 2003. They let me go home for I think I left Wednesday night. Like I did a full day of school the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
My parents picked me up after school. We drove back, and then I had to be back Sunday at 5 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
And it might be my favorite day of my life. Like just walking back in, like everything, every fucking nail of that house was like, I missed you, Nail.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about you, dude, but you are beautiful.
That's funny.
Like,
yeah.
Just I know everything I wanted, I had it, and that's why I know the experience of like the kid being sent back, because I knew that I was going back, and like I had to learn to be okay with that the entire time. Like right. Take this for what it is. Of like I get this little sip of the nectar, but it's just going to be a sip. But those kids that it's like, now you get to live in nectar world, and they're like, no more nectar. Like
I can't imagine. I had a vision, like when I would go to bed, of Kevin Costner, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
In the beginning of it, like when he gets back to England from wherever he's been, he like gets out of the boat and like grabs the sand, and like he's like, this is my home, and I don't know why, but like I would be laying down to go to bed at Excel, and I'd be like, I'm gonna get back to New Jersey and do that. Like I just really wanted to do that, and not at the beach either, but just like the dirt by my parents' house, like,
just this fucking super fun site.
Yeah, exactly. This is my people. Oh man. So it's I like New Jersey. I like visiting my parents, but living there, I don't know.
It doesn't seem that great. I've been a couple times.
I mean, we should go, dude. I think
I would like to. Yeah, I want that experience. Dude. I want to see
good old time.
Cranbrook or Cranberry.
That's right. Yeah. Oh man, that'll be great.
I was just thinking. I knew it was Cranberry, but just the
Are you fucking with me?
The 8 Mile
Cranbrook private school. Yeah, definitely. Well, Cranberry gets shouted out in Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie.
I've seen that movie a couple times.
That's where Tom Cruise's character is from. When Bill Paxton.
I have to remember that.
Like, where are you from? And he's like, Cranberry, New Jersey. Yep, and he's like everyone says, you haven't yet, but usually people ask if they grow cranberries there. It's not actually spelled that way. It's a Bury, like Danbury, Connecticut. So it's actually cranberry, but you pronounce it cranberry.
Why did we even come up with that word?
The Bury?
Yeah.
It's like Berg. I think it comes from like a Berg.
Okay.
Like,
I guess. There's a guy named last name Cran that was like really big then. At the time.
I think it is like Thomas Cranberry, maybe like that. As soon as you said that, that came into my head. So maybe it's not like a berry. Yeah. I don't know. The cranberries are big in New Jersey.
Founder of Naperville was Joe Naper, so that one's pretty.
That makes sense.
Easy, straightforward.
Dallas is a little murky, right?
It's unclear.
No that's kind of cool because it's not an old city. How is
I'd rather know.
You would rather know.
Because it's the kind of thing that like...
Well, what the fuck, dude? It's not an old city. That's what I'm saying. This seems like the kind of thing you should know.
I mean, you say, like, it's not living memory, obviously. Like it...
Wasn't it just like an outpost along the river or whatever? And then they've...
There's a place you could ford the Trinity. That was the earliest reason why anyone would stop.
But wasn't it like they basically were like, we'll have a city here now. There's a fucking outpost. Let's make it a city. Like that's what it strikes me as.
There's a lot of like, key moments. I mean, we're the largest city that's not by a coast, except I think the Phoenix overtook us. Yeah. But for a long time.
Interesting.
And I think once Phoenix overtook us, San Antonio might have too. I think that they are technically a larger city. Obviously. Both. I mean, like, that's a quirk of, fucking statistical nerdery that's inconsequential. Everyone knows Dallas is a bigger city than San Antonio.
I would say. Yes.
Bigger than Phoenix, too, in my opinion. But
I would also say yes. Yeah. Without a doubt, yeah. Not a fan.
I don't like Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But
that extends... See, I've not been to outside of... I've not been to Tucson. But the reasons I don't like Phoenix, seem like they would equally apply to Tucson. Dude, I've never been to a city in the desert I enjoyed.
We're gonna have a great time.
And I mean, I love Las Vegas in its own ways, but it's in the desert, so I cannot fully love it.
Oh, okay. I want to just, dude. I mean, obviously, we'll get to this, but yeah, we got to go to the desert, Vegas, shoot some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So I think that we've been about to tell the story of the day, and we haven't done it yet.
Should we wait? The story of the day.
Just like you were, I've heard, I remember when I arrived there, kids telling me that they talked about me before I got there.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't.
Well, that's what. Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't remember the day, what was going on or whatever. I just
keep on trying to tell it, and then you talk about the letter, and I don't think we told it.
Well, yeah. I don't fucking care about the letter. No, I did tell them about the letter. No, all I wanted to say was I wanted to clear up. I was not a staff member at the school. And then I got, confused, bogged down. But yeah, so we were in the lodge.
Because I don't recall it being a standard feature that they would say, hey, we got a live one, boys.
Well, it all depended.
Sometimes.
And it was
the one that I remember most specifically is the lady who's kind of in charge of watching the girls was the mother of we can say all their names. We agree on that one, right?
Yeah, I agree. But dude, this is where you should start. You should actually walk us through your intake because you're introducing all of these characters that you're meeting on your first day. You know what I mean? Right.
But let me tell you a story.
Sure,
it's a good one, and it's short.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember that there was a time that they had a girl intake, and I think that it was similar to me, where she got there late at night, so there was some lag where because I think that at the time we just weren't seeing the girls much, they weren't in the same building as us.
What?
This was after you left.
Oh, okay.
I mean, sometimes we'd share the lodge, but there was...
They had their own building?
There's too many boys. They filled the entire lodge.
Oh my God. That would suck, dude. All Dude Excel would be a lot worse.
And so, on weekends, they stayed at Dino and Jamie's house. That's where they slept. And so they would just,
I don't know what house... What...
one across from... this house that Jamie and Sally built for themselves.
That,
the one that's across the lake.
Yeah.
That's where they stayed. We stayed at Jamie and Sally's old house. And sometimes they would have us just stay up there. But I might be getting these details wrong. I was there for a long time. There's a lot of errors. There was definitely a time when the girls didn't really come to the lodge very much. So, but there was a girl intake that, of course, we always went to school together. There's a girl intake where Nana, the person in charge of the girls, said something. I would love to have like video of this, which like obviously I'm not going to come close. I would just love to have someone else who remembered this like tell what they remembered, because it's such a like there's so many ways it could break down that are hilarious. But she basically was like, we need to be on high alert. This is a big deal. Like, man your battle stations. This girl is too hot to be here. Like, this fucking 60-year-old woman is looking at like a 15-year-old
to be
being
here.
like,
the
that
best
girl,
smoker's voice of all time, too.
Yes.
Like, she's too hot to be here.
It's just being like, that one, she is fucking sexy, and these boys are not going to be able to contain themselves.
Woo.
Which is, I don't know. We could do do many
that's
years of episodes on the
detail. I've never heard it, but that is so crucial, because this whole time I've been like, whenever I talk to anyone, I'm like, they picked on everybody, dude. They picked on everybody, and they picked on scapegoats. They picked on kids that were weird. They picked on kids that had sex stuff. They picked on kids who had low self-esteem. Every kid there had low self-esteem in one way or another. But I also was like, they picked on, for lack of a better term, like the hot kids a lot. Like, and I felt like I'm not sitting here creeping on 15-year-old girls.
That one didn't really take Freud to figure out.
Yeah, well, but to sit here and have the mother of the woman who was leading the charge of that.
They were physically ugly people themselves.
Well, sure, I agree.
I would say that pretty clearly fed the dynamics.
Dude, I'm trying not. Dude, come on. We have enough to insult people on. There's a lot. I
understand what you're saying. I'm not saying it to insult them. I don't do that. I don't
so
like.
You just did.
No, dude. I'm stating a fact.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you're right.
I did not say it in a pejorative way. You can look back through all of my tweets of the Trump era. You will not find a single time where I'm like saying that what's bad about him is his appearance. Like,
did you
I'm
do
very
a
sensitive about this
and say I've never said that, and there's plenty of material there?
What do you mean?
Did you do that? That was a Trump reference, dude.
Okay.
Didn't you do that? He was like I think Rand.
Yeah,
to Rand
of course.
Paul. He was like, I never said anything about his appearance, and there's a lot I could have. But I never did.
But I'm just saying,
you know what I'm talking about.
It's an issue I'm sensitive to. I
misunderstood you, man.
I don't want to live in a world where the content of their character is judged by how they fight. That's not going to go well for me. It's not within my self-interest. If the hot people get to run the world, like, I'm someone's fucking slave. So
the hot people do not run the world. I think that much is clear.
I agree.
Yeah.
However,
well, dude,
that is what's could be one reason why people would like forefront things. But I'm just saying, I was not like fucking slagging them for it. I'm saying that they were physically unattractive themselves, right. And as a result, it was not difficult for me to understand what was going on in their head.
Okay. Yeah,
whenever they're attacking attractive people.
Got it. Yeah, I misunderstood you. I thought you were just like about to dig into them. Like,
it's not what I'm here for ever.
Me either,
any time.
Dude. That's what. Yeah. I like her smoker's voice.
I would say based on how you described it, it's clear that you do.
It's incredible. Yeah, it was good. I mean, you ever see Nana rip a cig?
What is that?
Did you ever see Nana rip a cig? Like smoke a cigarette?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I saw it once or twice. I'm pretty
really?
sure. I mean, you said earlier, like, I think it is good to say we might be manufacturing any of these memories at any time.
Of course.
I mean, we're doing our best.
It's 20 years ago, we were experiencing trauma as they were occurring. Like, you'd be crazy to think that these are accurate.
Exactly. We're doing our best with our recollection. But yeah, I think during some stressful times.
There's a kernel of it in everything that we say, though.
Of truth.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, dude. God works through everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, because do you want to? I don't.
Do I want to what? I mean, obviously, you mean end the episode. I don't really want to end the episode.
I don't want to end the episode now, but I do think we should start episode 2 with a detailed discussion of the intake. You know what I mean? Like cause I don't even know who you met.
Okay, I mean, if you want to end this and then like immediately do a detailed discussion of the intake, that's fine.
No. I don't even remember what we were talking about before like we went down this rabbit hole. That's not what I'm saying because, we're still finding our rhythm for how long these things are anyway.
It doesn't matter.
So, okay.
It's an inconsequential detail.
Well, I'm not saying we should end it right now, dude.
Well, I want to talk about the intake stuff. So if you think it would be helpful and I agree with you that like a full new episode would be good.
Okay.
Okay, here, let me do this.
All right.
I did have a couple things. I mentioned Pearl Harbor and was like, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
And that's, I'm trying to wrap up all of the can't get to it. It was 4 years of my life, or not 4, the 6th through 8th grade,
Oh, good. Yeah, because I was thinking about that too, but I was like, I guess we're moving on. But I did wonder like about the earlier measures you referenced, and like kind of because nothing just starts at 12. You know what I mean? Like but I'm not. That may not be what you had in mind, but
no, I did make a mental note. I didn't have that one written down, but I made a mental note that like telling you about some of those would be. Thank you. It's very Excel based. The Pearl Harbor thing was that so starting in like 6th and 7th grade, like I said, I had like a very music oriented conception of myself. Like whenever you ask me like, who are you? I'd be like, I'm a music fan. Okay. I'm a Korn fan specifically.
Yeah.
And I was wearing band shirts Fuck yeah. From the time I remember whenever like I first got a band shirt, I was like, going back to a non-band shirt is the worst experience. I'm going to do everything in my power to never have to do this again. Like this is all
right, so I
weird
also was
to
a band
think.
shirt kid, so I want to hear what these band shirts. I'm getting ready to write them down, but I'm not going to write them down. But like, all right, so you got Korn. I mean, because I can still picture a kid who came into Excel wearing a shirt that was the cover of Korn Follow the Leader.
I would have been so fucking
and that
excited.
Was basically,
I love that
was
shirt.
dude version of This Kid's Too Hot to Be Here. It's like, this kid's too awesome to be here, dude. Like,
no, he is.
So, all right, so we got Korn. You got a Korn shirt?
Yeah.
that's what. So I remember
I had like 7 of them bad boys.
Like go to like I had a Beastie Boys shirt that was like baby blue with like a ringer. Like it was in a basket. It was like a fake basketball league. Like I had Nirvana Unplugged cover. You know what I'm saying? Like these are like I remember them like go tos. So if you don't,
there was Korn ones that were like made by like obviously the same artist who had done the Follow the Leader artwork.
Okay,
but like were not just a reproduction of the album cover.
Whoa!
I don't recall the specifics, but I definitely remember like album cover shirts. I was like, that's really tight. But like if I can get something that I'm not already getting from the album cover, like now we're on the next level.
Fully agree.
Definitely had some Limp Bizkit shirts. One that this is hilarious now. Like,
I haven't laughed once.
We're talking about this seriously. Like it's normal. Like I don't know.
What's up, dude? Yeah. I was in a rap metal band. Do you know that?
I do not know that.
Yeah. Briefly, dude. I was recruited to be the rapper.
Tell me everything.
Dude. Well, it was like, so what was the name of your boys that smoked weed together last week or last time? Didn't you say you had like a crew?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because I remember being like, because I am, believe it or not, like trying not to interrupt all the time. So I was like, you don't have to jump in with the name of your crew, like just because TC said his crew. But I guess maybe I'm imagining all of this.
I don't recall a name of the crew.
So we were the Green Leaf crew.
Hell yeah.
The GLC. And actually, one of the founding members got shipped off to boarding school, to a military school early, because this was freshman year of high school. And so we had some movement, and basically a new guy kind of took that guy's spot. And so one of the kids was like really good at guitar. And then one of the kids was really rich. And so he had like a basement where he had like a whole DJ setup, like 2 turntables, fucking records, whatever.
Dream.
Yeah.
I could harangue my parents into buying me an instrument. I could only dream of haranguing them into buying me enough DJ gear to like really give that a run.
It was so sick, dude.
I was constantly like fucking just wearing out that part of the Guitar Center catalog.
Oh, really? Just like looking at the
I mean, wearing out the Guitar
whatever?
Center catalog in general.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
or seeing like if Sweetwater would send me a print catalog.
Fair, yeah.
But yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
wrong
the
with
DJ
that.
gear, very interesting, but knew that it was unattainable. Like, just not close.
Well, it's
to
expensive as fuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And you need space, and like you have to you be able to be loud unless you're going to wear headphones all the time. So yeah, so like this kid had a basement, and he was okay at DJing, but like he had so much DJ shit. Another one of our friends who just like lived in an apartment somewhere, so he didn't have any DJ shit, but he got pretty good at it. So we had 4 dudes, 2 DJs, 1 guitar player, and then I was the rapper. But we never really did anything because I was, on
How
my
would
way
you?
out.
You had 2 DJs and a
Yeah.
guitar player.
And a rapper. So basically, we invented Linkin Park. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But our name was 4D8B, which then I think got shortened to like 48B. But it was originally 4D8B, which stood for 4 dicks, 8 balls.
Hell
Which
yeah.
is pretty sick.
Hell
Yeah. That you can't tell that story out
Really
of Excel,
cool
dude.
guys. No,
Yeah.
definitely not. Definitely
so
not.
you never
I've
knew.
never heard of it. No.
Yeah,
You'd
so
have
this has been a
trouble
long
for
time
telling that.
coming. It's not just I got fired. And, started rapping. 48B. I'm taking back up the mantle.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, so all right. I
yeah,
just
so
wanted to know corn. It sounds like it's the big one.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is like 6th and 7th grade. Korn was like the whole thing. Like that was my fucking world, dude.
Okay.
Like, can't tell you how excited I was about them. But then at some point, it's not like I ever like thought they were bad. To this day, I like listening to it. Like just because I remember what it was. I remember how much I enjoyed it then.
Yeah,
and that's all I'm hearing.
I only like the first album is like that for me. That's why I started like immediately. Just like
Life is Peachy was never the thing that I liked the most.
is that the second album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say, the self-titled and Follow the Leader like are very, very, very different.
Yeah.
I'm sure the non-Korn fans like think that's a hilarious thing for me to say.
Turn it the fuck off.
But hold a similar place for me. And then I was around for Issues, and I would say it's not on that level, but I liked Issues a lot. I liked it a lot for sure.
Is Issues like a sepia toned photograph?
So they actually had like a fan design contest and had a couple different covers, but the primary one was like the stuffed animal with stuffing kind of falling out of it. It's like a cartoon.
Okay, yeah, that
thing.
rings a bell now.
It's a lot of oranges on the cover.
I think it rings a bell.
Yeah. But so, I kind of start like anything that was your favorite thing in 6th grade, by the time you're in 8th grade, you've got some new things.
Sure, of course.
You're evolving as a person.
Yeah.
And so Nirvana was kind of the next like big thing of like,
Okay.
I'm older, I'm more mature.
Sure.
I kind of listen to more complex music now.
Definitely.
Like Nirvana.
Yeah, okay.
And,
I listen to Nirvana today.
Kurt, I still like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Kurt dyed his hair pink before he went on SNL the first time, like to promote Nevermind. Then they also went on to promote In Utero.
Okay.
But that first time, I think, I know. He overdosed on heroin the night before as well.
Shit.
Like a light one,
Yeah,
like,
didn't kill him.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
But
like an Uma.
Huh?
Like a Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah. Like I don't even think he went to the hospital. I think like Courtney slapped him a couple times.
Sure.
Was like focus.
What else is new?
Yeah. But he used Kool-Aid to dye his hair, which
Fucking awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
all girls would do that all the time. Like, yeah. Anyway.
But so I didn't think I could figure out the Kool-Aid thing, and like his hair's lighter than mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at Hot Topic, I at one point spied some like red pink hair dye.
Okay.
And was like,
Manic Panic.
Gonna figure this out. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't thought those words in. I can't believe oh my God.
Yeah. There you go.
What a fucking blast. Yeah. Yeah. So I bought a tube of that.
Hell yeah.
and was just like, don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but like, let's figure it out.
Okay.
And this is the kind of like these are exactly the sort of squabbles that are constantly occurring. Me being like, I would like to dye my hair pink. Them being like,
oh,
fuck
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Like,
that's a
absolutely
control
not.
struggle.
Like, yeah. Ain't
Did
no
you have
fucking
long hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, that was a whole.
Yeah.
Like I would constantly be like, I want long hair, and they'd be like, no, not considering it.
Yeah.
And it was just that I determined that my dad and I would go get our hair cut together. Like we went to the same person. And it would always be like, we would get there and, either he or the lady would be like, so who wants to go first? And I found out that if I always let him go first, universally, he would go check his hair in the bathroom.
Okay.
When he was done with the cut.
Uh-huh.
And so then it was the start of mine. So whenever she was like, what do you want to do? I'd be like, I'm kind of growing it out right now.
Nice. Okay.
So, as little as possible.
Okay.
And
he comes back. She says, I'll finish 10 minutes later. He's not going to buck. He's not going to be like, cut more.
And, he's not he's a soldier in the army. He's not the general.
So your mom was saying no long hair.
Yeah, I don't know that he gave a shit. There was certainly squabbles he and I had. I don't want him it's not it was equally shared. It's weird because I see my parents as extremely different from each other now. But I did not register that.
They were a unit.
Yeah. I despise both of them equally.
I was about to say good. In terms of don't they say when you're a parent,
it was just all bad, dude.
You gotta, or all bad, yeah. But you gotta present a united front.
Oh, they are very good. Yeah, no, there's a lot about them that's extremely admirable. Which at this point, it's not like a total mystery to me how we ended up where we are. But it would not be hard to construct a case where it's like, what a crazy thing that happened. Two people that cared this much and did this good a job of raising a child still turned out like this.
No, I think that's part of the story we are telling.
They never argued in front of us ever, with each other.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, what I don't know.
They did a good job of presenting a united front,
But is never arguing the way to go? I say that as an
That's
arguer.
Pretty good. Yeah, no, my daughter will not be able to say that, as I said earlier.
And I worry though.
That's my addiction as much as anything.
I hear you on that, man. It's in many ways, it's the ultimate, it's the same battle that the struggle that got us sent to excel of moderating your emotions. That's why I feel now, when they're 0 to 4 or whatever is really,
and I'm fighting a lot of exactly the, it's all the control stuff, just a simple request hey, while you're up, can you grab this? It's you're literally attempting to determine what it is I do. And I can't do that. So I know it sounds like a simple request, but now I'm going to yell about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been there, man. I definitely have. I'm trying to think.
And I've tried a lot to work on it in the last year specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's all a journey, I think.
Me and my therapist discussed this a lot.
I think that's good.
And I feel like I've found some tools that
work for me. Do you have any tools to share with me or the listener?
This is a dumb one, but
this is a life skills podcast.
This is the kind of thing that I feel is effective. Small changes can feel like big changes. This isn't I unlocked my brain or whatever, but if just whenever I get up, I ask her, "Do you need anything?" It really helps a lot. It makes a big difference. Then I'm in control of the entire process. Yeah, I'm driving the whole way.
She probably prefers
She gets what she wants.
She probably prefers
She feels like she's being pampered.
Yeah.
It's a large improvement.
That's great. That's pretty good.
Therapy's good. I recommend it.
Yeah. There you go. All right. I thought you were going to hit us with count to 10.
No.
Okay.
No, that's a small, whatever. It's not like that has made it so that there are no arguments or anything, but it's
that's
helpful.
Tough.
It's helpful.
Also, to me, a lot of is just being able to sit there while you get all, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think how best to put it. You can't control if your wife doesn't take you the way you want to be taken. You know what I mean? Or like if she's having a bad day or whatever.
I don't know if I'm ever going to get there.
Well, it's tough, right?
Can't.
It's definitely, and then I think probably this is just us.
I mean, I have to be understood. You know, like all these problems are stemming from that, like I said, that I'm a different kind of person from my parents. So like I felt like I was a different kind of person. I felt so, you know, I did not feel like I was understood. I did not feel like that there was, you know, like permission given to be that kind of person.
Right.
The kind that I was.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
would you say that's like a shame thing or like a
shame, but like frustration?
Yeah.
You know, like a lot.
Why was it important to you to be understood? To beg a question that is, I mean, I know intuitively.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I've never asked that. I just assume that's a standard part of the human experience. Well, I feel that I'm so acutely aware of that part of me because like I did not feel like that was being met. You know, like you're only aware of your needs when they're not being met, right? Like,
yeah, definitely. I just think it's an interesting thing to think about because I also care deeply about being understood. I get really frustrated. I think, you know, especially in the early days of this project, like there's a lot of residual. I haven't been able to talk about all of this so much that I think that's, you know, why we're excited to do it. But
yeah, like the lady, you know, the woman that I see intermittently, the therapist.
I was like,
no. I realized I said that. I used the word that has many interpretations. I'm talking about the therapist.
Side chick.
No. It talks about like mirroring.
Yeah.
And just, you know, that as a child, I think everyone's craving a lot of mirroring. Definitely. I don't think that I received that mirror, which like, you know, through no fault, like this isn't to hurl accusations. This is just to state facts and talk about my experience.
Yeah.
I did not feel mirrored, and I feel very mirrored when we're doing this, which is why, you know, we're going on for hours and hours at a time. Right.
No, I was thinking about that. I think, I don't know if she talked about this, you know, for whoever is getting pissed off about us not being scientists, you know, noted. So I don't know, you know, if this is the exact term, but I've heard like the term like limbic resonance also, like, because it's in, you know, like the limbic part of your brain.
Yeah, that sounds,
like,
she might have said that at some point.
Yeah. I think like mirroring, you know, it lets you know you're resonating with each other in like an intersubjective relationship. It's, yeah, there's a lot of ways you can put it.
And so whenever I feel like I'm not being understood, like that's not something I can like drop and
it's like losing your personhood, you know, in many ways. Yeah. No, that's why I asked.
That's like all my worst fears are coming true.
Yeah.
And like no one deals with that.
It does to me, and here I don't want to project. If you think you
deal with that well, then you've misidentified what your worst fears are.
What does it make you feel similar, or how does it make you feel? Like when someone's not listening to you.
Oh, just mad.
Yeah.
Very, very mad.
Yeah. What's the worst that happens if someone doesn't understand you?
I yell. That's about it.
No, but I mean like, what's the bad thing that happens?
I mean, just the feelings. You know? Just that, I mean, it's a terrible, like, the inner frustration. Like it's, you know, it takes a while to dissipate. It's really hard.
Yeah, for sure. I think it builds up, especially with this history. But it's been a similar source of frustration for me.
And, you know, you want to talk about a lack of mirroring. JJ did not do a lot of the program
she demanded
administrator.
Mirroring from you.
Yeah.
I mean, because like if she was mad, Sally was bigger on this, but like I was actually talking about this today. I have kind of a tick. A lot of people have it, I think, where if someone's really yelling at you going in, and I think for me, it's more just like that groove of like, all right, the bad thing's happening. It's manageable. I know it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just, this is it? Like, okay, come on. Like, but like a lot of guys would like start grinning a little bit when they would yell at you, and it would infuriate them.
Yeah.
And they would just be like, wipe that fucking smirk off your face.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
no, I had a work conflict where like the boss called me in to tell me I'd been doing something bad. And I like then he kind of like went to, you know, someone who is like, I I've had a complicated work situation most of my life. The power structures are at times unclear.
Yep.
But you know, went to someone else and like kind of told them in confidence like how it went, who then repeated it back to me. He was like, yeah, he said you were just smirking the whole time. he couldn't get over it. Like he was really thrown by it. And I think it made him mad. I think it made it worse. It made it much worse.
Yeah.
But like I mean, you know, you're right. Like it is somewhat it's a lot of like that I'm only going to feel safe if I have control. I can give myself this control by being like, I mean, it feels like it. It feels good. It's a good, like, I don't, you know, I mean, like, obviously it has the negative effects of like the other people, but I don't plan on changing smirking whenever I'm in a situation like that. Because
don't be a lawyer, dude. Because when a judge is yelling at you, you know, for like whatever, that was actually like, again, I hadn't had many of those, but I had one like closer to when I got fired, where I really did feel like the decision, it's not just like it went against my client. I was like, this is like so wrong. And it like, you should be over that by like second year, but it felt very Excel. And I felt the fucking smirk creep up. And I had to like, get to him. Like, cause like you can't fucking smirk at it. Like, but it was like that Excel training of just like, I'm so good at getting yelled at. But anyway,
no, it gives me what I'm hoping for from it, of like that feeling that like, you know, I mean, like he's there to tell me like how bad I fucked up at work and like how I'm bad and like you know, just he's trying to demonstrate control over me then, and by me like not giving it to him, like, you know, it gets me what I'm looking for, like back on footing that I feel good about. Like I feel the safety return whenever I'm like, oh, you think this is a big problem for me? Well, does it look like I'm having a big problem? I mean, I'm smiling right now, dude.
Right.
So how much has your attempt to control me gone? You know,
so you're actually laughing.
I mean, you know, like, not literally, but
no,
like,
but I mean, like that phrase, like, you know, I'm actually laughing right now. Okay. I mean, I'm with that, definitely. I think there are times when it's good to put it away. Like, when that cop pulled me over?
I'm saying all this because I feel like the view held by most of the people in the population is that, like, obviously that's dumb.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little different around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I, you know, graduated from Korn to Kurt Cobain, and then Kurt Cobain had dyed his hair, so I got the
Manic Panic.
Manic Panic.
I can't.
That's exactly what it was. God damn. And so, just, you know, then it was like, how am I going to find a way to do this? Like, when will I have access to running water for a couple hours that my parents are not around and also are not asking questions about where I am?
Right.
And like, how do I figure all this out?
Right.
And the answer I settled on was whenever my friends were like, you want to go see Pearl Harbor? I was like, yeah, and I'll pocket that hair dye. And then there's a unisex bathroom at the theater with a sink.
Okay, sure.
So I'm like, it's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
I'll just go and fucking do it. And dude, I mean, because whatever, maybe I'll never have a full understanding of why I did these things. But like, as an adult, my best attempt to like piece this together is that it probably goes back to the same, like, not mirroring thing of like, I just did a lot of stuff that was like very naked, strong attempts to like get attention, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like amongst my peers, like I would, you know, like if I was going to a party and like I thought it was a big party, it was like, what can I do where people are like, that guy's wild, you know, like what can I wear? What can I like do with my hair? Like what, you know, the kind of outward signifier where it's like, well, he's different.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And cause I mean, you know, that's, I mean, I think that's like trying to like announce strongly that like I would like that mirroring. Right. And it's like, it's an ineffective tactic. That's usually not how people greet it.
Right.
But like, I think that's where it's coming from.
I think so.
At least partially. That explains some of it. Doesn't explain the full picture.
Yeah, but no, I think you're onto something. Definitely.
But yeah, so the one this time is like, I'm gonna take that hair dye. I'm gonna dye my hair in this Pearl Harbor bathroom.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Just got it fucking everywhere. Nice. Just like stained.
I'm picturing the bathroom with the weird fluorescent.
Looks like a fucking murder scene. Just because it's red. Red pink hair dot. Yeah, not exactly like blood, but it's not fucking green. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And
the janitor had to clean all that up.
Well, he came and found me, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know how they did it because it's dark in there.
Yeah. Wow.
But like they come in the middle of Pearl Harbor and are like, you better fucking do something about this.
What?
Yeah.
I would be like, I mean, what did you do? I don't want to be like, I would be like.
I would love to tell you that I like told this other unaffiliated adult that he could kiss my ass.
You think I want to see Pearl Harbor that bad? I'm fucking out of here.
I mean, I was pretty young. I was in 8th grade,
Yeah.
But
plus, you don't know, some manager might wait around outside for your parents when they pick you up to be like, this fucking punk, like.
They did.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so, but yeah, I'm at that point trying to like manage. I mean, here's another part of it. We were at that movie theater. Like that was the only social hub. Like if I get banned from that movie theater, that's a big problem. That's like a big problem.
And they ban.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to find out.
There's a lot. It's like your parents maybe taking you out of Excel. There's a lot you don't know.
Yeah, whatever they were saying that to me, I was not feeling. Whenever they were mad about the hair dye, I was not feeling defiant. I was feeling scared. Like I was like, I want to figure out how. Why? Maybe part of that, but I don't know. Like with anything else, the human brain is complex. I was not feeling defined at that point.
Rebellion quotient that day already by
Quite
dyeing
possibly.
your hair. So was your hair pink at this point?
Yeah. But I mean, like wet and fucking,
so you're sitting there
sticky.
with like wet pink hair watching Josh Hartnett, and then they're like, "Get over here!" And you went and cleaned it up.
Like while they're like standing and like watching and being like, "You didn't get that part good enough."
Gosh, dang, wow, okay. And they're like,
I mean, you can't get it out, dude.
Of course not.
It's fucking
that's why
hair
you're not
dye
allowed
on
to
ceramics. Yeah.
That's why they frown upon it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I'll keep scrubbing if you want, but like, what?
Yeah.
This is a game that we're playing, right? Like, this is gonna be pink for a while.
It is a substance that is meant to bind to others and change the color. Yeah. And this is white, I'm assuming, like white ceramic tile. Yeah. That's tough. Is this an AMC?
The parents were mad. I think it was a Cinemark. It's the one at Legacy. Yeah, the Cinemark Legacy.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's still there.
I know about Legacy.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever you mentioned Pearl Harbor, that's what I did for Pearl Harbor.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just remember I was by the ice machine in the lodge most of the time when it was on. I might have been in the corner. I can't remember like specifics. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I recall it sucking.
Yeah, it didn't seem good, from the vibe.
And then
it's Michael Bay though.
It is
directed,
but he's made some mistakes in his life. Pearl Harbor being the big one,
he directed Pearl Harbor.
I don't think the Transformers are. He didn't do as much of that source material as I would have.
Yeah, I haven't seen every Transformers.
I mean, I haven't seen everyone, but I've seen enough to know that it's not.
I think they're good.
Nah, dude.
I mean, I liked the one that
like even for what they're doing, like Fast and Furious is like 7 million times better.
I don't know if this is like because I was at Excel, didn't catch the vibe right. I like Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I thought you did. Why are you?
No, I do, but I don't have like the depth of affection for it that many do. Just I haven't seen everyone. But it's like, it's not the same, dude. Putting it on in 2021, I love Paul Walker.
I mean, I've watched all
Angel
of them in
Gone Too Soon.
2021.
I know, but not for the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not them for the first time.
I mean, I've seen whatever, like ones that have come out in the theater more recently, they are awesome. But like when you say...
that first one was a big pre-Excel movie. I think that was the first time I made out with a chick in a movie.
Nice. At the Cinemark at Legacy.
Yeah.
That was your first movie.
It was a special lady. She meant a lot to me, Alex.
Shout her out, dude.
No.
Well, I didn't mean like that. I mean, we are right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Big up to Fast and Furious, babe.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that was at the same legacy?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, what are you going to do when they tear down your first movie makeout theater? Or make it into a church or something?
I mean, I already don't live in that house, which is enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, like, no one from my family lives in that house.
Still.
We had that big pool party and then sold it to some people who were fleeing Hong Kong.
All right. Are they still there? How would you know?
I mean, it was just a couple months ago. They took a large loss if they didn't.
That house from that earlier anecdote. Sorry, I lost the thread, dude. Maybe we should take a break.
Yeah, let's wrap this one and then come back. Intake. Sound good?
Yeah.